Foo Fest 2019, June 29th, DBA 256 in Pomona, California, with Siamese.
I like to speak on how we live.
Hope.
Walking through his neighborhood looking for someone to prove.
Anonymous.
Yeah, hot too, while you're zoning out of orbit.
Burners. Average Joe and the Benchwarmers. Rundown Creeps. The Fallen Electric. From Zero to Hero. And Wolves Inside. Free entry 21 and over. Go to foobarshow.com. From Filthy Martini Studios in Ontario, California, it's the Foobar Show!
Hey, what is up, everyone? I am Josie.
I'm Josh.
Thank you all very much for listening to the Foobar Show. Thank you for downloading the pod of most major podcast apps, subscribing, and telling a friend like a champ. You can always reach us at Foobar Show. That's FOOBarshow.com. And FOOBar Show is our handle on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line, and we'll foo it up like a couple of foos. Ain't that right, Foo?
Of course.
Yes. I am fucking excited today because we have one of the bands that I've been following for quite some time. We have Antagonist.
Ooh, what up? How's it going, fellas?
It's cracking, man. Hey, this is a goddamn treat. I've been following you guys since probably, what is it, 02? You guys established yourselves back in the Whittier area. Around that time, would you say?
We started the band in 1998.
That sounds about right.
Fucking believe it.
Dang.
We were 14 years old, and me and Lano here met in gym class, and yeah, we jammed, and we were like, hey, man, we need a drummer. You want to play drums for our band? So we just celebrated our 20th anniversary.
Yeah,
of the band.
son. Fuck.
We're older than like most kids that come to see us. So there you go.
Well, introduce yourselves and let everybody know what you play.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm Carlos. I play guitar and I yell a lot in the band. I never say I sing because that would be a terrible thing if I sang. So you go ahead, sir.
My name is Orlando Lon Garcia. I am the drummer in the band.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. We're not related, by the way.
No.
Oh, you're not?
No.
It's like Buster and Babs Bunny.
There it is.
No relation, right?
Oh, shit. Taking it blew my mind right now. Yeah. Over the years, just seeing biographies written about as little blurbs on websites, always.
It's funny.
The brothers Garcia, like
no, dude.
No, there's just a lot of Mexicans in Whittier, and there's a lot of Garcias, and we're just two of the many. So
throw a stone, you'll hit a Garcia.
Pretty much. That's exactly right.
It's like, yeah, my legal name's Jose. You know,
There it is.
Well, where do I start?
Exactly. So yeah, 98, man, and 20 years. We're now on 20 and a half years or something.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah. So we're still going, man. We're doing it.
So I came to know you guys back in maybe around 02 or 03, give or take, because one of my good friends, Anthony, who does his own podcast called the Bystanders Podcast, he introduced me to you guys through just going to Skateland.
Yeah.
There was a huge scene happening at that time. Around that time, Skateland had a bunch of bands. Before we started recording, I mentioned a couple other bands that you guys might remember.
Yep.
Basura,
Yes.
Mylan She.
Yes.
On the opposite side of the musical spectrum, there was another post-hardcore band called Wester that I used to
Oh,
listen
yeah.
to.
We know
And-
West. I remember Wester, for sure.
and so a lot of like good local music coming out of that scene, but you guys were like at the top of the fucking totem pole for me,
shit,
man.
man.
I actually, Carlos, you don't know this, and it's kind of weird telling you, but
Tell
I
me,
kind of
please.
looked up to you a little bit.
Oh,
your
dude,
guitar
thank you.
playing. Yeah,
Thanks, man.
back then you guys were a three-piece.
Oh,
I was
my
barely
God.
picking up my guitar,
Nice.
and I'm just like, I had the first demo of Antagonist, and one of my favorite songs on that was, I don't know, did you ever title it? Because it was called Untitled.
That was the title.
It was Untitled? Okay.
Such a stupid band thing to do. This song is called Untitled. Yeah.
And
Cliche.
you know, I tried to learn it. And that was one of the first songs that, you know, when I picked up my guitar, I was trying to play that fucking song. So it's there's a lot of that, a lot of Rage Against the Machine.
Yes.
You know, when I first picked up that guitar.
Hell
so and then you guys just started making your production started, you know, improving.
Right.
And I what is it? Maybe 6 months ago, I played that Untitled song on
Yeah,
this very
man.
podcast. Tagged you guys on it, and what did you think? You're like, who the fuck has?
I
this
was just
track?
like, why does this song exist? Where did this come from? I hadn't heard that song in fucking years, and I couldn't believe it. So
It was definitely like a head scratching moment. Like, huh?
I really had to be like, is this? I think this is us. This is
We're
definitely
getting punked.
us. But why?
Yeah.
I had to it was like a double take, but it was cool, man. Like, people still have those demos, and like,
It felt good though to know that someone's still listening to that.
Yeah.
as cringy as some of those old recordings are, right?
Oh, don't even trip.
Oh,
Dude. Those are
man.
still
I mean-
good. they still hold up in my opinion.
And you, as a musician, you listen to old recordings
I
or
know,
old songs,
I
and you're
know.
like, "Oh my lord!" I hope no one ever hears this, right? But yeah, man, to hear that, I had to say something because I'm like, "That's so damn cool, man." I'm glad someone enjoyed it. I'm glad someone still had it, and yeah, man, that's awesome. And
I'll
now
tell
we're
you,
here.
We were blasting that demo, "Writings on the Wall." I believe it was
Yes,
called.
yes, yep.
And the one that followed, we were blasting that in because I was in wrestling.
Yes.
So the entire wrestling team was doing practice while those two demos were blasting, and we would weave in a little audio slave from time to time.
There you go.
But man, it was a good time back then in that specific area. What other bands can you remember that came out of that scene?
Lahan, so many.
There's one band from around that time that they weren't from like our immediate scene, but Make Move. They were a
Move.
hardcore band from LA, like South Central LA area.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the bands that's not around anymore
That we
from back
loved,
then
man.
that I really liked a lot.
Yeah,
We played a
Move's
few
dope.
shows with them.
Yeah.
But there's bands. I mean, that Skateland scene, dude. I'm telling you, any given Saturday night in Whittier, there was 500 kids at the at Skateland, and it didn't matter who was playing. It was just like, this is
That's where people went.
It was all ages. I mean, it's that I always said Whittier is that perfect spot between Orange County and LA. No one wants to drive to LA. Parking sucks. Traffic sucks. And then Orange County is just kind of far for everyone. So you go to Whittier, 500 kids any given Saturday. Antagonist would be playing. Mylan Sheath would be playing, like you said. Basura. There was this band called Thrush that ended up, broke up, and the member of that band and the drummer Mylan Sheath ended up. Now they play in Suicide Silence, who was like major big metal band that fucking tours the world. Who else played?
You know what I remember?
So many.
I remember the Plain White Tees played Skateland.
Really?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they were
really?
one of the bands I remember that passed through the.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't even
And were
know.
they like touring in their early days, and that's how
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one of the venues that they hit up?
definitely. Yeah,
That's insane. I didn't even know that shit.
I remember that shit.
That's insane. But yeah, like there was a lot of other. Oh God, remember Estrogen from Pico Rivera?
Estrogen.
Favorite band name of all
Yep.
time.
Wow.
Estrogen.
Were they very whiny?
Wow, now that you mention it.
The drummer was very flamboyant.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Okay.
And Blackheart Eulogy is another one of those bands, and the reason I bring them up is because now their drummer is our bassist. His name is Colby. So we
Yep.
played with Blackheart Eulogy, and I remember the first time they played there, they set their guitars on fire. Like they
did.
put sponges on the top of their
Yeah.
headstocks and set them on fire. And we're like, this band fucking sucks, but that's dope. They got better. They did. They got pretty good. But
Right on.
yeah. But now
This is one hell of a gimmick.
yeah. Holy shit.
This is before the Great White Incident, by the way.
The Great White Incident?
Was it
What?
really?
Oh, the Great White
the Great-
Incident.
yeah.
I was like, Great White?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know if
yeah.
you guys remember that.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
pyro that went
Yeah.
off in the That was they almost set
Many
Skateland on
people died.
fire, and no, they were that was fun though. Skateland days were dope.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
times.
That's one of the first times I ever did the Wall of Death.
Oh, the Wall of Death.
The Wall
my
of Death
friend,
when
yeah.
you guys were on stage.
Yep.
And
I want to say that Lamb of God stole the Wall of Death from us. I'm just gonna put it out there.
We did it first.
No, we didn't. We might have done it first, but we stole it from who did we steal it from?
Stole it from Hemlock.
Hemlock. Oh Jesus!
Shout out Hemlock. What up?
Hemlock, and they stole it from Sick of It All or something.
Probably.
So anyways, but we did that back in the day, and Wall of Death was like the thing to see when you went to go see Antagonist at Skateland. It was brutal. A lot of bloody noses and broken bones, and a lot of that was. And Antagonist at Skateland was the first time I ever took a shot of whiskey, or the first time I made out with a girl, where I lost my virginity in the car or whatever. So. We're
So you were
like
literally coming of age on
we
the
were
stage.
a rite of passage. Yes, we were the coming of age on stage, and there was a lot of coming of age literally in cars.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that.
There it is.
So, Lon, you were mentioning that you had your own podcast as well.
Yeah, so I have a podcast. It's through Infinite Strength Records, which is the record label that we're affiliated with.
Correct.
They host the podcast for us. It's called Loud Abrasive. And I also co-host that with my buddy John Parker, who I'm in a band with called Zombie and Horse. Mm-hmm. And basically what we do is we interview local musicians about their time in the scene. We talk about their bands. I actually interviewed Carlos for an episode about Skateland.
That was easy. Where's the button? That was easy.
Yeah. So we have an episode where we get really in depth about those Skateland days.
Super nerdy about it. Like, you got to be like a band geek to like. If you're not into that, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck are these guys talking about?" A lot of food talk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of talk about food.
We talk about food because me and John, my buddy, we're just big foodies. So it's just hard to not talk about food. So we just made a segment, like a dedicated.
Now we're just
food
going to talk
segment.
about food and get diabetes all over again.
But other than that, we just like to, kind of shed some light about our scene over here in LA because not a lot of people are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the more content creators, the better.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, just to hype up the community up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Because we don't know how long any of this shit's gonna last.
Mm-hmm.
You know how bands are. They are here for a
Here
year.
today,
they
gone
break
today.
up next year. Yeah, then the guys go and they start another band, and no one ever really knows anything. So it's cool to have some documentation, and you can find the podcast right now on SoundCloud. It's called Loud and Abrasive, and you could also follow us on Instagram at loud.abrasive.podcast.
Right on.
There it is.
Cool, man. Well, I'll be checking that out for
yeah.
sure. Maybe hearing a longer version of what we just heard
The
about
Skateland.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Definitely, yeah. Check it out. I think it's episode 3.
There you go.
Those were the days, man.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the days. So tell me a little bit about yourselves. We'll start with you, Carlos.
Yeah.
How did you come to pick up the guitar? Who were your influences? Who did you look up to at that time?
Man, so I started playing guitar when I was 11 years old. And it was cool for the first 4 years because I was this tiny little kid. I just late bloomer, man. I sprouted I didn't grow until I was 16 years old or whatever. But I was this little dude with a guitar I could barely hold, and it was cool playing because I was already pretty good when I was a kid, and people were like, "Holy shit!" This I would get approached by old men that were trying to start bands and "Hey, you want to play guitar in my band?" I'm like, "You're 45. I need an adult." Not you, but yeah, excuse me, sir. But it was cool, and I started playing when I was 11. I was in the school band in middle school. I played trumpet in the school band, so I was learning music
You
there.
knew theory and all that.
Yeah, but guitar was my thing. I basically saw. I think I saw a freaking it was Woodstock 94. Remember Woodstock 94? And it was Green Day, and I was like, that looks like so much fun. I want to do that. So I picked up a guitar and started playing, and then I started listening to Green. That was one of the first albums you own, right? Dookie, Green Day.
of course. Yeah.
So it's Dookie, Green Day, and then Offspring, Smash.
Yeah.
Which is
Americana
still one.
and all
Yeah,
that, yeah.
Smash is still one of my favorite albums ever. And then Weezer, Blue Album, and
so good.
And then I picked up a Metallica CD, and I was like, oh well, I got to
Black
play heavy
Album.
metal now. Now this is it. I'm playing metal. I'm gonna start a metal band, and then that's when I was in a punk rock band in junior high. And then
we all did that
Yeah,
once.
right. And we played one backyard show.
Tried.
And then 14 years old, starting high school, I met this guy, and I was just listening to a lot of Metallica and punk rock. I started with punk rock, then I went into metal, and then it kind of just evolved from there. And then here and there, I liked some other bands that kind of changed everything for me. Glassjaw was one of my favorite bands.
I remember
Still one of my favorite bands.
when we first heard Strife.
Strife. So there's a band called Strife. It was straight edge hardcore band that I heard from him, and it was on some compilation, right?
We didn't know what hardcore was.
Do you remember those
either,
punk rock
remember?
compilations? How great punk rock compilations were? What was it?
I think it was Cinema Beer Nuts or something like that.
And they have the
It was one of those Hopeless Records comps.
their compilations are the best. and they had this band called Strife, and I was like, holy crap, I want to play music like that. Like that sounds so dope.
Yeah.
We didn't know what hardcore was.
Yeah,
we
we
were
were
just like,
saying, oh, this
that
is so
sounds mean.
different. It sounds like metal, but
that
like
guy's pissed.
yeah, exactly. It's like metal, but like punk rock as hell. Like, I don't know. It was so cool. So we were like, that's what we want to do.
That's groundbreaking.
Yeah, and then I met this guy, and we started playing drums in high school. I had no friends in high school. I didn't know anyone. and I met him. Thanks, man.
He was kind of a loner, you know.
I was.
We just kind of saw him like sitting by himself with a Metallica shirt. We're like, this guy's got to be cool, man.
This guy should be cool.
Yeah, this is back when Metallica, you know, if you're wearing a Metallica shirt,
Yeah.
like you were cool.
Yeah.
Well, back then they had just, I think, released that single "I Disappear" or something like that.
Oh
that was
my
around that
God.
time, if I'm not mistaken. For,
you know what? No, this is a little bit before that.
was it?
Yeah, so this
This
is
was like
that was
Garage
Mission
when they released
Impossible.
Garage Inc. I think.
Yeah.
All the covers.
Trying to redeem themselves for all those load things.
Yeah, Load was still kind of like out there, but
I
it
do like, but-
it didn't like totally diminish their reputation yet.
S&M was out.
Yeah,
No. It was,
It was
before
about
that.
to. It was about
Okay,
to.
it was about to be.
Yeah. So this is like, we're still like 14.
Garage Inc. was out. That was like, they did their covers album, so that was
okay.
like cool. But
They had a cool Queen cover in there.
Stone Cold Crazy, yeah,
that's a really good one,
That's a good
actually.
one. But and what about you, Lon?
So yeah,
Talk.
so going back a little bit, you know, I'm about maybe, let's say 11 years old or so, or maybe 10, you know, and I'm at a little lip sync competition at school, and I'm watching, you know, my peers, as they call them, do a little performance. And they're doing a Lithium by Nirvana.
Oh.
You know, and I don't know who the fuck Nirvana
Teachers
is.
let them sing Lithium.
You know,
Did they not
right?
realize what was
Wow.
happening?
So
yeah, the part, I'm so horny.
right, you know,
Way to go, teachers.
and I'm just like,
They're hip.
this is like kind of something different, you know. Like I've never heard this stuff before.
California public schools, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And so like one of my buddies is like, hey, like, you know, my mom has that album or something like that, you know. And I'm like, really? I go, that's a cool song. He's like, I'll make you a tape of it.
A tape, guys.
Oh,
a tape, all right.
Yeah.
A tape.
A recorded dubbed tape.
Yes.
And then I think the other side had like Poison and Guns N' Roses.
Oh, damn.
wow.
You
So
got
I-
introduced to some good shit
Oh,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Lithium, smoking in the boys' room.
So basically, yeah, I was just listening to like Nirvana nonstop, and I was just like, I think I want to play drums, you know. And so it took a couple of years of me circling like ads in the newspaper, of drum kits for sale and stuff like that, until my parents, they finally showed up with a drum kit one day, and I was like, fuck it, man, now I got to learn how to play it. You know?
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Pressure
So-
was on, right?
So I had a friend who actually knew how to play Lithium by Nirvana on guitar.
Okay.
And I called him over, and then, you know, it was pretty much from day one, like, I was like, well, I guess I'm a drummer now. You know? Fast forward a year or so, and my buddy who's playing Lithium, you know, he's more into smoking pot. And I'm not really into smoking pot yet. Cause
Yet.
I'm like 14.
Keyword.
You know?
The day was still young.
You know, and so I'm like barely, you know, I'm still kind of learning how to play drums, and I meet this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I'm badass, so I kind of show him that I think I'm badass, and
Can I please tell you that story?
tell him how badass I thought I was.
Oh, let me tell you how badass this fucking guy was. So we're like, we need a drummer. We go into this guy's garage and we're jamming. Well, I think we just have our guitarist. I don't even think we had
Like
started
setting
yet.
up
We were
still.
setting up, and he goes, "Oh, wait, literally, you guys haven't seen me play yet, huh?"
Oh, no.
Well, no, because we no. All right, and he just starts playing this like fast punk beat. Yeah, that's me. Like, oh Jesus, this fucking guy.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Damn. And I'm like, hold on, let me show you something. I start shredding behind. No, I didn't do that, but it was fun.
So I was like super douchey about it.
oh, it was so douchey,
But it was
So
like
good.
it was perfect though.
so
You know?
good.
So mind you, at this time I could
Icebreaker.
barely, you know, keep my right hand steady. You know, but you know, I start jamming with Carlos.
Yep.
You know, and a couple other buddies. And we start Antagonist, and
Yep.
so, you know, basically the first year of Antagonist is when I really learned how to play drums.
Yeah, so
You know,
you're welcome, Lon. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
But before that, I was just basically just watching Dave Grohl and
course.
Josh Freese, you know, played with the Vandals in the Sweat Into the Oldies video.
Yeah.
You know, I used to watch that a lot, and just Dave Grohl on MTV playing with Nirvana, just
That guy's like animal.
Dude, he is the animal.
Definitely, dude.
I call him
Yeah.
our dark Lord and Savior, Dave Grohl. Because he's just like the best
he's
dude.
a champion.
He's just the best dude.
Yeah.
He's just the
Greatest,
best
man.
dude.
I'm so grateful for Dave Grohl. Like honestly, if it was for him, I probably wouldn't be talking to you
Yeah,
guys
I know.
right now, even though he doesn't know who I am.
Yeah. He knows now. He's listening to this right now. He's watching us. See you, Dave.
See,
But yeah, top drummer of all time, Dave
go.
Grohl.
There you go.
oh, definitely.
There you go.
Definitely.
One of the greats.
We used to have
Absolutely.
arguments, remember?
Who was the best drummer ever?
I'd be like, no,
Coming
man.
from a guy who's not a drummer.
No,
Like,
man. Dave Grohl, bro. And he's just like, no, man. Who was your favorite drummer?
I don't even fucking remember.
Forever?
Who cares? Tell someone that doesn't matter.
We used to
'cause I'm a
argue so
guitarist.
much. I'd be like, no, dude, Dave Grohl.
How would you rank them if we're talking about it?
Ooh.
How like your top five? Who's in your top
five? Can you do top five? I bet you can do top three.
Dude, that's so hard because it's like, what day is it today?
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I know.
It's Sunday. But, as far as drummers
I
go,
bet you I can name this. But
okay, so Dave Grohl, obviously, one of my favorite drummers of all time is definitely Mitch Mitchell from Jimi Hendrix
Jimi
Experience.
Hendrix.
Yeah.
Okay. R.I.P.
Mitch
R.I.P.
Mitchell, yeah, R.I.P.
Poor
But just amazing style, just always played a different beat, like never played the same beat twice, but you always knew what song he was playing.
Yeah.
Mike Borden from Faith No More.
There you go.
He's just so unique and he's influenced so many drummers. Josh Freese, of course, because
Yeah.
he's just a chameleon and he
He's a
influenced
genius.
me.
He's a child prodigy, wasn't he?
Fuck yeah, man. And
Last
then
one.
some guys that I've been listening to lately, let's just say Ronald Bruner Jr. He's just a beast on drums, and his brother Thundercat's one of my favorite artists right now.
Thundercat, yeah.
So I always think of him as like who's like with a badass drummer on the scene right now.
Yeah.
Ronald Bruner Jr.
Right on.
RBJ.
This is a lot of great drummers, man. It's just like you said, what day is it today?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
who's coming up or who's already, who's in the limelight right now?
Freaking honorable mention, Abe Cunningham? No?
I love Abe Cunningham,
from
and
Deftones?
it's I would be wrong to leave him out because his style is
It's the first time he's
so
brought
much.
up on this podcast. That guy's a beast.
Yeah, because Abe is a big influence on me.
White Pony was the first album I ever listened to where all I could focus on were the drums. As a guitarist, I was like, I cannot believe how good these drum parts and everything in this song make this damn song.
The
Such
tone
a
of the
great
drums,
record.
first of
Favorite
all.
Deftones record by far.
Yeah, the production on him was insane.
Just the tone of those drums, probably best drum tone ever.
Sounds so good. Love it.
I would go on record saying that's the best. drum
There it
sound.
is. You heard it, guys.
Heard it here first.
There it is.
Bury me with that shit.
And I wouldn't be doing myself a favor, at least as a guitarist myself. Who are you top five guitarists
Oh man!
of all time?
So here's the thing about me and guitarists. I'm not very much one into the kind of like virtuoso type guitar players. I'm about taste and songwriting and I have so much taste. That sounds so fucking pretentious. Let me explain.
You said it with your pinky out too.
Let me fucking rephrase that before I sound like a total asshole. I like shredding's cool, man. Shredding has its place. Virtuosity has its place, but I like a song and I like a solo that will stick in your head that you can hum back, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of shit that I love. So, of course, growing up, my two favorite guitar players were James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett, right?
Of course.
Metallica, favorite. But like growing up, finding out about other music, I started listening to, one of my favorite bands is Glassjaw, and their guitarist Justin Beck was one of my favorite guitar players. Such a good songwriter. Didn't play leads, didn't play, a lot of noisy kind of stuff, but just such good songs. Tasty songs, man. Then we get back to the shred. Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, one of my favorite all time, because he could shred and he could pretty much outplay anyone lead wise, but he wrote good ass songs too and memorable riffs. So he did both. So and I even heard from other like his peers like in interviews like saying like he could have done so much like. He was even better than he showed, which is crazy. Like, because he was already like
still remained humble and
right, yeah,
made his bandmates stand out too.
But he did exactly. Oh, and that's another thing too. Every member in that band, Pantera, was like the best at what they did.
They were at their
best drummer, best bassist, best vocalist. They were just a powerhouse. Okay, and I said I don't like shred, but let me tell you about this. One of my favorite guitar players is Tosin Abasi from Animals as Leaders, and he is all virtuoso. It's instrumental. If you ever heard Animals as Leaders, you need to check them out.
Okay.
But we used to play with his band Reflux, and he played guitar for that band. We used to play with him in Southgate at this place called the Allen Theater. We played with him other places, probably. But real good dude. And we became friends, and it was one of those dudes that's like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be mega superstar one day. And he has his own guitar line now. Like he's like on the cover of every Guitar World magazine, pretty much. He's out of his mind, but his songs are well-written songs, right? The songs are so good, and you would never think that an instrumental band would like blow up and be as big as they are. And who wants to sit and listen to an instrumental these days, right?
Well, whenever the credits appear at the end of the movie, it's
right. But you know what I mean? Attention span now, especially it's like fucking if it ain't 2 minutes and it's not like a pop hit, like I'm not listening to it. Like, cool, not me, but he's fuck. I don't like pop music. But he's so good. He's so good, and Animals as Leaders is so fucking good. So he's definitely on that list.
I want there to be a candid video of you like singing some Backstreet Boys music.
I was more of an NSYNC type of guy.
Oh, my mistake.
I'm more of a Timberlake type of dude.
JT.
I got a story about that too. But I met Justin Timberlake one time at one of our recording sessions. Probably one of the coolest moments of my life. Never gonna lie. He was a good dude. We talked about Cactus Cooler. No big deal.
Did a little pound real quick.
A little pound, a little Cactus Cooler.
Went our separate ways.
And that was it, man. Rest is history. But I don't even know if that was 5. I don't know if that was 5 guitar players.
Well, what else you got?
I will say my last one. Tony Iommi. Fucking Black Sabbath. Best riffs ever written.
Damn.
Period.
Yeah.
He's the architect, man. If it wasn't for him, none of this shit would be where it is.
Talk
what
about
it is.
the vibrato.
Oh, dude, talk about he had to tune his guitar low because he didn't have fingertips.
Yeah,
so he had to do that drop tuning so he could like play.
Didn't he make like little fittings to go over?
Yes, he
when
did.
his
He
fingers
did.
started, so
And
now
like
can.
he had to do it, and what? Like that was the most genius mistake of all time. Like
Just created doom metal.
yeah, basically he created he wrote every riff that exists now. And if you're in a metal band and you write a riff now, he did it already. Sorry. It's just derivative of Tony Iommi, basically. So Tony Iommi, definitely on that
It's
list.
like any comedy, like The Simpsons already did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simpsons did it.
Well, the Simpsons already predicted like Trump, didn't they? Like
in a way, yeah.
they predicted Bruce Jenner. They predicted Trump. Like, dude, Simpsons.
The ending for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they
No, they
predicted
didn't.
Game of Thrones.
Shut up.
Yeah, like the dragon was just fucking up the city, and it's just Marge and Homer, and the kids are just right there at the
That happened?
Yeah.
I wish. Now I gotta go. I'll look back at that because that's so. I got into Game of Thrones real late.
That's
and
fine.
I just I binged on it like in the last 3 months, and I was just like, what the fuck was I waiting for? This is I'm a metal dude and I don't want to watch this. Like that's like a metal dude not watching Lord of the Rings or like.
You should have been busy LARPing,
dude. That's exactly right. I should have been. Who would I have been, dude? I don't know.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, Lon!
I only caught the last season, and I didn't watch anything prior to that, and I was still okay with it.
I'm happy I didn't watch it.
Oh, it's you know what?
I'm happy.
Why?
Because
All the disappointment.
everyone's disappointment. And I'm just like, I'm so glad
You
I
know why
never
people
invested a second into that.
Were you disappointed?
I was on the fence.
Just say yes.
No, because look. It was an ending. It was an ending based off how they wrote the the show,
Right.
Like, but it's not the true ending of how the real story of Game of Thrones is going to end.
Okay.
Like,
I feel that.
I feel like they got the very last part, like what the gist of it is. I think that's pretty much what it was. All right, here's the gist of it. The guy kills his girl, gets exiled up north.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And we give it to the guy that's ADA qualified for the job.
So is that not what happened in the?
I mean,
I don't know how to read.
They didn't have a
so-
lot of ramps on that.
No, they didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they ran out of source material at some point, right?
yeah, after this last season,
Turned into
Yeah.
Lost.
he hasn't even written the last 2 books.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why George,
I could understand that. Yeah.
George R. R. Martin told them like, okay, that's how it's gonna end. You know, this is how it's going to end.
Also, he
You
did
guys-
tell them.
Yeah, but you guys got to figure out everything
your
in
way towards
between.
it.
Yeah, work your own way towards it.
Oh, see, I get why people. And had you been following it since it came out?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See, that's where I could understand the disappointment. Since I started so late, I just kind of got it all in 1 3-month just binge, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this is fucking crazy!" But
I
like,
mean-
but if you're following it that long,
You
and then
you follow every little
Yeah,
thing.
exactly,
It's like you follow it for
exactly.
so
I
long.
feel that. I get that.
You get hung up on
For
every
sure.
little piece of symbolism, and then at the very end, wait, this doesn't mean anything. You mean to tell me you fucking spent 8 goddamn seasons talking about the Lord of the Light or the Prince that was promised, and you didn't fucking give me shit?
But
God damn it!
That's kind of why I like. That's
Flipping the coffee table.
sorry, guys. That's kind of why I liked it, though.
Yeah.
I kind of like the sorry ending. Sorry, we're not giving you what the fuck you want, dude. Sorry. That's
In
why.
your face.
That's why I wish Avengers Endgame would have ended differently.
Just a big fuck you.
I
to
just
all
wish
the Marvel
Just a
everyone-
fans.
handshake and all right.
No.
We'll see you later.
As fucked up as it sounds,
Credits.
I wish everyone would have fucking died. Like everyone. I wish everyone would have died.
Damn.
Because then it would have been like the superheroes, the Avengers gave up everything
That'd
just to
been so
save
metal.
the fucking universe.
Damn.
And then like maybe like one left just so they could continue the movies, right? Like Spider-Man, because he's got one coming out. So you gotta live,
So
Spider-Man.
you gotta leave
You gotta
Spider-Man.
live Spider-Man and Guardians.
And
okay,
it's just
fine.
and then the following movies are just gonna be their perpetual torment.
But
of-
then, like,
of having survived that horrific.
But like, what
experience.
freaking Black Widow died? Who the fuck cared about Black Widow? Like, really?
Probably why she died.
That's what I'm saying. Like, kill someone that matters. Sorry, spoiler. You should have seen the fucking movie by now. Fucking, who cares?
I still haven't seen the last one.
So
But
I'm
it's all
telling
right.
you exactly what happened. You're too late. Iron Man fucking dies.
just rip the band-aid
I would have
off
loved
right
it
there,
if,
huh?
like, at least one of the other big guns would have died, like Captain America or Thor or whatever.
Well, I mean, Cap.
Well, Thor
ultimately
can't die, really.
Thor, yeah, he can't die. Which I'm kind of glad they still kept him going, especially with Dude Thor.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think that was the best.
That was funny.
The best part of the
That was
fucking
real
movie.
cool. Real cool.
He's all
Dude
fucking-
Thor.
he's
And
all
they even gave him the
scared.
costume.
Yeah.
The fucking dude costume, like the cardigan and
Oh,
the
yeah.
flip-flops.
The flip-flops,
Oh,
the
my God,
sweats,
that's so
dude.
Great.
But if Cap would have died, I would have been like, all right, like, cool. Like, they did what they needed to do to save the fucking universe.
Well, shit, we're already on the next segment.
Let's
You want to
just
just get
start
started?
Oh,
this
shit.
out.
Sorry.
I love it. we just walk right into
Yeah,
it.
Segue two.
It's like, oh well, hey, we're geeking out already.
Yeah, might as well just get it going.
So, guys, I know you've heard of the new Joker movie that's
Yes.
coming out this October
Yes.
by Todd Phillips. Well, funny thing, there's been some actually breaking news or some leaks on what the pretty much what it is going to be about. Kind of. So, spoiler alert, everyone that's listening to this, real quick. Potential spoilers, at least. So from what we know, it's fairly well known that Joker will be set in Gotham City, but it seems that the film will take place in 1981. As a psychological thriller, the setting might not have as large of an impact on the plot as a whole compared to a sci-fi or action flick.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting to see like a less high-tech version of Gotham. At least compared to like Christopher Nolan's. You
Well,
know?
I was gonna say this is taking it back to like the original Tim Burton kind of just
Kind of.
grimy,
Yeah.
just grimy Gotham City,
grimy
which
Gotham
is how it
City.
should be, man. I
In
love
the
that.
80s, you're gonna see some disco outfits.
Oh,
I
you're gonna
mean,
see a lot of drugs,
a
man.
lot of
a lot of
drugs.
coke, and a lot of dudes.
It's like LA at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So just last night, basically.
Have you seen that garment district just like shut down and it just
God.
becomes
Fuck, dude.
Gotham City?
It does.
Dude,
You see
right.
all the hobos with the trash cans on
Zombie
fire.
land.
It's gnarly, dude.
So the film will be centered around Arthur Fleck, the Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix. He's a no-name clown who works for a talent booking agency, and he'll reportedly have a social worker who keeps a close watch on him as a result of his serious mental issues. As seen in the film's trailer, Arthur also serves as a caretaker for his ailing mother, who once worked as a housekeeper for the Waynes.
There's the
that's the
connection.
That's the
There it
connection.
is.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
So, speaking of the city's prolific family, you know, the Waynes, Thomas Wayne is running for mayor, and it seems he's been ignoring his former employee who tried to reach out to him recently.
Damn, did her dirty.
Dude, and so after Arthur loses his job, he finally snaps, and he kills 3 Wall Street elites, which eventually inspires a resistance against Gotham's elite, driving a wedge between the rich and the poor.
So basically, I love the Joker. Like, what?
Right?
Like, he's going to be the hero?
Right?
Like,
and
that's
then,
awesome.
while we previously reported on the rumor that, Bruce Wayne and Arthur are half brothers, I don't know where this came from.
What?
It's probably not going to play out, but apparently, though, Arthur's mom was obsessed with Thomas. She never had a kid with him. It's also said that Fleck was abused by his mother's boyfriend as a child. And once he finds out that she was complicit, he's going to exact revenge on her.
There it is.
And you remember that scene in the trailer where he has a gun in his apartment?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe he killed his mom, and that's what caused him to snap.
Oh, shit.
And it's funny. It's kind of like a wink almost to the series of Gotham, where like he pretended like he loved his mother until he snaps and he's like, "Fuck, she was a whore. She was all this." Yeah.
Yes. And the movie ends with Arthur having completely lost his mind, locked away in Arkham Asylum for murdering a certain key character, which hasn't been known. I like what they're doing with this, because it feels like they're mixing a lot of different origins for the Joker. You have the comedian aspect, or failed clown, quote unquote. You have the strange, how should I say this, childhood with a abusive mom and slash boyfriend, and then he's just gonna snap,
Traumatized kid kind of thing.
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait to see if
I like it when they make the villain, or the to be villain, somehow have some like a human quality about him, and
relatable,
kind of like that Dexter.
Yes,
like that Dexter quality, where he's totally a bad guy, but he's killing bad guys.
He's doing it for a good reason.
For the greater good.
Yeah, right.
Like an anti-hero.
Exactly.
Yes.
I love it when they do that.
Yeah, and I have a feeling they're not necessarily going to portray him as an anti-hero, but you're going to feel more, related to him, because like, oh, damn, this dude went through some tough shit. Like, these guys were straight up like assholes, like the guys that just beat him or whatever in that alley that goes on in the trailer, the subway. So
we're gonna be Joker sympathizers.
Yeah,
we're gonna be Joker
maybe,
sympathizers.
man.
Honestly,
I'm
he is my favorite villain.
Oh, of course.
I've
Best.
read some of the Batman, the recent Batman comics. It was Death of the Family,
right,
where he literally kidnaps every single member of the Bat family.
Okay.
And he finds out Bruce Wayne's identity. So like in the basement of the Batcave, he has all of them tied up with what looks like bandages all over their faces.
Okay.
Like sitting around a dinner table, and on their plates in front are their actual faces, like skinned off on a plate in front of them. And then Batman's at the
make
end.
that movie?
Dude, I'm telling
brutal.
you, it's a fucking brutal comic.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Man. I'm into that.
Yeah, like they did some metal shit. They actually had a metal arc, DC Metal, where Greg Capullo, the artist, he's a hardcore metal fan. Like he plays a bunch of metal music and stuff. And so the entire thing looks like as if you can have a metal song just playing.
Oh, dope! That's so sick.
You could literally,
I love that.
If they wanted to animate it, you can just literally have straight metal.
Metalocalypse.
Yeah, Metalocalypse. Yeah. But yeah, DC's been doing some good shit.
Nice.
Moving on to another DC property, Swamp Thing, Foosy.
Oh my God!
Not so good shit.
This thing has lived and died probably within the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was so much build up. Like, at least comicbook.com, everyone was like, dude, Swamp Thing's going to be the next big show.
And the pilot was pretty good.
But so then right after the pilot, they just decided, you know what? We're good.
We're canceling it.
Nah.
And so tell us what you know about the cancellation, and I'll see if I can maybe, just based on what I heard.
So I heard that it had something to do with the current merger of Warner Brothers and Time Warner.
Okay.
I guess some of the properties, or some like the higher ups, want to rethink the whole DC Universe structure. I don't think they think that the DC Universe app or that streaming service is as profitable as they.
And as fucked up as that sounds, I don't think that that's the truth about what caused them to pull out of making another season. Because this is what I heard, and I forget the source, but what I read was that they were filming out in North Carolina, and the reason that they decided to film this show out in North Carolina is because they can get the actual swamp kind of scenery
and stuff.
and they got a shitload of tax cuts or rebates.
Okay.
So what had happened was that in trying to apply for said rebates, there was a clerical error in which they were expecting to get somewhere around to the tune of $14 million back. And due to a clerical error, they were not going to get those $14 million back in tax rebates.
Damn.
So, and the show was already expensive to produce and create and keep going. So they were really relying on anything that they can get back, you know, on top of what they can
recover some of their losses.
Yeah, everything. They were trying to, you know, save every single goddamn penny so that they can keep this thing going at the production value that they were hoping that they can dish out. And because of this clerical error, it just came to a complete stop. So we cannot afford to keep going with this. So that's why they pulled the plug.
Yeah, we ran out of money. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and then North Carolina was just like, yeah, sorry, nothing we can do. You know, we got your money. They were like Springfield. They were trying to do Radioactive Man.
But they probably have like a real swamp thing over there. You just have,
So they ain't worried about it.
just film the swamp. Something will come out.
You'll see something.
Grab the fan boat.
I did hear though that HBO might pick it up.
Nice.
Really?
Because of the, you know, they can't afford the production value. And dude, they just lost Game of Thrones.
I was going to say maybe a reason for me to keep my subscription.
Yeah.
No kidding.
No more Game of Thrones.
And Chernobyl's over. If you haven't checked out Chernobyl, that's another one that I recommend.
I'm interested in watching that new Watchmen series too. I haven't seen any of it. That's on HBO.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The trailers look pretty intriguing.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of want to see what.
Yeah, I feel like they're not giving too much. You kind of have to like, all right, I'm not sure what this is about yet. But let's watch this.
Let's just give it a chance when it comes around. I mean, why not? It may surprise us or may utterly disappoint us.
Or maybe terrible.
Has anything that HBO's had
has it been too terrible? Like,
no, they've had. You know what? They've had a pretty good track record.
at least fair to Midland. Some watchable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, everything that they put out is pretty palatable, I should say. So, I mean, what was that one show they had, Bored to Death? Yeah. Was that them? The one, the one with Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, God, yeah, I remember.
Not Tony Danza. What the hell's his name?
Tony Soprano.
No, he was in Cheers. The hell's his name?
Bro, stop.
God damn it. It's going to kill me.
I don't know.
What? Wait, Cheers?
The guy from Cheers.
Ted Danson?
Ted Danson. There it is.
Ted Danson.
Ted Danson and then
Tony Danza.
Yeah, that's close. Ted Danson,
Right?
Tony
Tony
Danza. That's
Danza.
pretty close.
TD.
It's a TD.
Same dude. 80 show. Who's the boss?
Who's the? There it is.
Same shit.
Same shit. Actually, so I don't know if you guys saw that this new X-Men movie came out recently, Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix, yeah, it just came out, right?
Yeah, this last Friday. It did not get good reviews.
I was just gonna say, I feel like this one's gonna flop.
They said this was the worst X-Men movie.
Really?
That
out
sucks,
of
dude.
everyone.
Like review wise, or like money, like how much they made, or all around.
All around, like the worst one.
You know what it was, man? That last was it Apocalypse movie.
It
was the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Dude. It was such a bad movie.
Well, this is worse than Apocalypse.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's probably just.
They said this is worse than Wolverine, the Origins Wolverine one.
Ooh.
With the mouth shut Deadpool.
Yeah.
And they said it's worse than The Last Stand. So yeah, and I thought The Last Stand did Dark Phoenix pretty bad, and just this. Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet, so that's why I'm a little skeptical.
Man.
Like I was really hoping they can at least end it nicely. Just like, all right, just give me an ending. But
Come on, Sansa Stark, let's fucking figure it out.
Well,
dude.
I heard her performance was good.
Right.
Like there was only like
the story.
The story itself sucked. The character that Jessica Chastain plays.
Oh yeah, weird ass eyebrow character.
Yeah, they said it was supposed to be like some Skrull style of character, but then they had to change things because of Captain America, Civil War, and Captain Marvel. So they had to like change a bit of the scene. So like she said, I filmed scenes as a different character. But then when those movies came out,
Why? Because it was too similar.
Yeah, because it was too similar to what Marvel was doing. So I fucked up the story. They said, and
together. God damn it.
Yeah, so
that's a bummer.
Yeah, it is.
I was really hoping for something
because they've been missing. X-Men has been missing pretty bad.
But what's the real reason why X-Men is not part of the Marvel?
Oh, it's owned by Fox.
It was originally owned by Fox. and along with Fantastic Four. Both
Oh
of them.
God, which was another pile of fucking
terrible.
doo-doo.
The one in 2015 was terrible.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, it was originally owned by them, so they could not. Marvel
get the
couldn't get
rights.
their hands off on those rights until like they stopped making movies. Like they had to. If let's say they didn't make a movie for 2 years, then they lose the rights to those characters at one point.
So that's why they keep
dishing
them out
because
piles of shit. Yeah.
And Stan Lee and Marvel, because they went bankrupt in like the 80s, they had to sell like a bunch of their properties. So they sold the Hulk, they sold Namor, like a lot of the Fantastic Four
that's why there was like 8 Hulk movies.
Yeah, because they don't own them. I think Universal still owns the rights to Hulk,
And that's why we have a few Spider-Man.
Yeah, because Sony owns Spider-Man.
Wants, they want to hang on to those
so
rights.
many Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, and but that's why they keep busting them out.
Yeah.
We got to see Uncle Ben die how many times?
The same amount as Martha and Thomas Wayne.
However, thank you to the new Spider-Man for making Aunt May, Marissa Tomei.
Oh
Thank
my
you so
God.
much for that.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit!
And actually giving him an accent from Queens,
Right?
Yeah.
He's a British kid, but he does a pretty good New York accent.
Good New York accent, and I love that he does his own stunts and like does all the
Does he?
Yeah,
Was it Holland?
He does,
Tom Holland?
Yeah, he
That's
does
sick.
he does all the acrobatics. Like you see
What?
him flip up in
Those
the
are
air.
actually his
That's
webs.
Actually, yeah,
Those are his
Dude,
webs.
Dude, he's that
Those are
smart.
webs.
I can make
That's
webs
smart.
too, guys.
Oh shit! Those weren't
give me a
webs.
few
Those
minutes.
aren't webs, dude.
Put it away.
All that over the
30
wall.
seconds.
All that stuff on the wall is not his web.
So we'll probably won't see an X-Men like Disney style
Yeah.
X-Men for another 2 or 3 years, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, because they got to wait 3 years from when the last property premieres or is executed before they can fully take over.
Then who did the Wolverine one? The last one?
That was Fox. Logan?
Because Logan. That's what
Yes.
it's called.
Yeah.
Holy,
Logan,
because that might be one of my favorite of any of the comic book movies.
The
period.
best. The
So
best.
good. How did they just knock that one out of the park and then the rest are just fucking dumpster fires, man? I don't understand.
It's because of it was two different producers. So like Logan, in the similar fashion like of Deadpool, they're more independent directors that they have come in, and they tell them you can just make your own story. Like with the I recently rewatched the Wolverine.
Oh my God, it's so
oh my
good.
God, the Wolverine was amazing.
It's
Where he
so
loses his
good.
powers.
Yeah.
And you can see how vulnerable he is.
Yeah.
Like
I
that.
like that one.
That was
That
like
one is
the
good.
formula
Yeah,
for Wolverine.
that was a
It's
good
like,
one.
okay, the only real way you can dehumanize Wolverine is if you just make him lose his healing power.
Just make him a normal
Make
dude.
him a normal dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But still has like the ferocity and
Yeah,
he'll still
yeah.
fuck you up.
Yep.
Sideways. So
Yeah.
I mean, I recommend everyone to rewatch Wolverine and Logan.
I saw a fun fact the other day on Instagram that somebody posted that Wolverine is such a badass. Not only in what he can actually do, but he can heal really fast. But he still feels the pain,
Right,
inflicted
exactly.
by the damage done on
Don't
him.
worry, don't
regardless of-
forget.
but he still feels all that, and he can still do what he has to do to come out of a sticky
The
situation.
pain threshold of that man, it's just insane.
He has he has everything that could have ever possibly happened terrible to a human being happen to Wolverine.
Yeah, I kind of recommend people go actually read the Old Man Logan comics because in the comics, like the whole Marvel universe is all fucked up,
Right.
And like Hulk has become his mind's gotten so fucked up from the gamma radiation. He can only have sex with his cousin, that Jennifer, the She-Hulk.
Okay.
And they make like these inbred children that run dude,
That's awfully convenient.
I know. Gotta have sex with my cousin now.
Have sex with my cousin.
Sorry.
But it's supposed to be take place 50 years into the future.
I think I saw that one on Pornhub. I think
Yeah. Where Logan's like an old man.
Saw that.
You definitely did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like Logan's an old man. He doesn't use
Right.
his claws, and that's why he ages more.
Imagine how disgruntled old man Wolverine would be. Like,
Yeah.
get off my fucking line, and then he just slices your
Sheep.
ankle. Jesus,
No,
you
you
have no
can't.
feet now. Sorry.
But there's a part where he gets eaten by the Hulk. Yeah. where he legit, like, the Hulk eats Wolverine.
While he's having sex with his cousin?
No, yeah, exactly.
It's an aphrodisiac.
You've read this comic, I see.
I have. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then Wolverine, like, heals inside his stomach and all of a sudden slices the Hulk out through the stomach. Yeah, it's a crazy-ass comic.
I gotta start reading these comics.
These comics are nuts.
First, I have to learn how to read. And then I'll totally read these comics. That's awesome. But bummer for Dark Phoenix, though, man.
Yeah.
I had high hopes, man.
I
think we all kind of had high hopes, but kind of knew, like,
it's over. After Days of Futures Past, they peaked.
Yeah, that was it.
They should have just ended it on that.
They should have, because that was them pressing the reset button on everything X-Men, and they could have just handed it off to Marvel Studios from there.
Yeah.
But you got to make that money, you know. Well, they're losing it probably, but...
Well, because of what happened with Logan, because if you look at it timeline-wise, there was Days of Futures Past, and then Logan came out after that.
Right.
So they're like, dude, we got to keep the success going. That's why they
had those two bangers.
greedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's why they threw out Apocalypse. It's like, whoa, hold on.
And that's...
You just did Days of Futures Past, and now you want to just jump straight to Apocalypse where everything's about to end?
Yeah.
My two favorite villains, like growing up, Marvel, were Thanos and Apocalypse. And I was so bummed when Apocalypse came out because it was so terrible.
We got
and
Ivan Ooze instead.
He looked so shitty. He looked so shitty and was just so lame. And the backstory is awesome, and then it's just like...
I actually would have preferred Ivan Ooze.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. Holy shit.
At least it would have teased the performance by the Power Rangers.
Yeah,
Ivan fucking Ooze, dude. Lord, oh God.
It'd be like, whoa, the universes are connected. Mind blown.
Very good, very good.
Well, I think we've geeked out enough there.
Cool, man. Thanks. We'll be right back with the joint report and the music highlights. Stick around.
Hey, everybody, I'm Josh.
And the Foo here tagging along.
Be sure to catch us on Fubar Sports.
Listen in now on Tuesdays.
Catch us on any major podcast app or our own website, FoobarShow.com. You can also find us on our Facebook group, Fubar Sports.
Join in on the conversation, sports talk, latest rumors, and sports news.
Boobity doobity.
Listen. The new single by The Fallen Electric.
Listen, here's the Starella.
Available Friday, June 21st. Download or stream it on your favorite music app.
All this time I never believed myself.
Go to thefallenelectric.com for all news, show dates, and contact information.
Are you on weed? Give me some. I'll smoke you two under the table.
It's from the bomb. Well, guys, I wanted to talk to you about, what's happening in the weed universe. So, have you guys ever gone to the doctor and have not known what to put on the application or to even talk to him about cannabis at all at any point?
You know what? I kind of have, yeah. I've in the past, I've been like, do I smoke? I'm like,
what do you want to hear?
Really? You know?
Should I?
But then you're
Are
also
they
like,
waiting for
smoke
me
what?
outside?
You know? I just want to say smoke what?
I don't smoke tobacco. That's
This form is not detailed enough for me to describe exactly what I smoke.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I bring that up because it's happened to me. It's happened to me where many years ago I was arrested and I was like, fuck this. You know, I'm fighting it because they wanted to throw me in county and everything. Mm-hmm. So my lawyer, which is a great lawyer, Sean Tabibian, he was on that documentary by the comedian Doug Benson. Super Jaime. Yeah, he's featured. That lawyer is featured on Super Jaime. Awesome. So I'm like, let me call this motherfucker up. He's in Hollywood.
Oh, dope.
So I went to his office. I talked to him. I was like, this is what happened to me. He's like, no problem. I'll take care of it.
Nice.
But this is what I need you to do. I need you to go to the doctor, tell him that you need a note saying that you actually have a legitimate reason to use and all that good stuff. When I was talking to my doctor back then, he's just like, so he really didn't know a goddamn thing there was to know about THC. And we're talking, this is 2011.
Okay.
More or less. Maybe 2012. And I'm sitting in the doctor's office, a fucking MD in front of me.
Spent fucking 20 years in school.
Exactly.
Probably.
And I find myself teaching him what THC is, what cannabis is, what like actual benefits that people are claiming that they can get. I mean, obviously, we are at we're nowhere near it being legal in any state at this point.
Yeah.
Decriminalization is going on, but as far as it like being recreationally accepted, it's not. It hasn't happened.
I think
yet.
medical is barely even a thing at this
Exactly.
point, isn't it?
Yeah. If anything. So, we all have our cards, but the cop being a dick just kind of like
You could rip
blew
that
it
thing
up.
up.
Yeah, the fuck they want.
So the article that I found on Leafly.com was most doctors know nothing about cannabis, and who can really blame them considering it's been a Schedule 1 drug?
Yes.
I mean I know we can now, but but at least those. It's been a Schedule 1 drug, so it can't be studied, legally. And it's everything is hearsay. All the reports are hearsay. So, at least from a medical standpoint, I can understand that it's not being taught in any of the medical schools throughout the U.S.
It's mostly just taught of the negative side effects, I think, in that aspect, right? Or
right, because of all the propaganda coming from it being a Schedule 1 drug.
Can I tell you a quick story about that, by the way? Speaking of this propaganda, I'm not going to name where I work or what. I'm a teacher.
Okay.
But we have those programs where the cop comes in and like we had, back in the day we had Sane and Dare. And the cop comes in and tells you the scary facts about drugs, peer pressure, whatever. And this cop came in and started telling the kids, asking them about what drugs do you know that are out there. Da, 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 da. And someone brought up, I guess I wasn't there when he said this, but I had a student come to me afterwards and ask me, so is marijuana really bad? I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, because the cop was in there telling us that like there's no good uses for it and it's terrible, and if people that tell you there are good uses for it are just lying to you. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And like I had to keep asking more questions, and I went into like another time he came in to see what he was talking about with the kids, and it was like a 5th or 6th grader asked a legitimate question. Well, what about like prescription pills? Isn't that an issue? And no, we're not talking about that. So even at the ground level of teaching children about these kinds of drugs or whatever, it's a bunch of nonsense, man. Yeah. And it's the old traditional like, drugs are scary, marijuana's bad, don't do it, you're a terrible person if you do it. Da, 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 da. And I had to explain, and as a teacher you got to be really gentle about it. Like, well, you probably shouldn't be doing that when you're younger because whatever. The brain is still developing until you're 25. But when you're an adult, like, you kind of have your own choice, and some people need it. I know my mom was taking CBD oil to go to sleep because she's been had insomnia her entire life.
Yeah.
And it benefits her. So, I mean, you kind of have to look at... I was just really upset. I stopped taking my class to see this guy because I was just like, I don't like them being lied to. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it starts from the ground level of just educating kids the wrong way, and it's fucking terrible. So.
Exactly. And just recently, the DARE program removed cannabis as it being one of the drugs that they're against. So
as it should.
For good reason, I think, because we're seeing a lot of benefits, especially with even animals, your pets. If you give them a little CBD oil while they're having some kind of like epileptic
seizures,
it chills them the fuck out.
Right,
they're good to go.
I heard about like people that give their pets CBD for like 4th of July and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
to calm their asses down.
We got to ramp up to that
Exactly.
because we're already getting the firecrackers going on. Here, so.
And the dogs and some of the cats can't handle all that noise.
That's why a lot of them go missing.
Yeah, that's what the most missing. That the day of the year is the most they go missing.
That happened for my dog a few years back. I think it was 4th of July weekend. All of a sudden, we were at a Dodger game, and they were lighting fireworks at our house while we were away. We came back. The side door was busted. Dog was gone. We didn't see her for like 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Yeah. We finally got her back, but it's just like, you guys... I mean, CBD oil would have been very beneficial if we had it at that point. So yeah, definitely people who have that kind of issue definitely get that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the article a little bit, I was stunned to know that they've stayed away from teaching new MDs about cannabis and cannabis products. That specifically 91% of med schools just won't even touch it. Mm-hmm. And this is a number that came out of 2016, a 2016 survey that found that only 9% of medical schools had any curricular content on medical cannabis. Like at least to touch on it, or telling, or at least giving them an exposure of what it is, at least from a medical perspective and how it affects the body and all that good stuff. So, the tide may change, and it's starting to, at least as we become to legalize.
Well, they have I think at the University of Colorado, they have in their bioengineering or their biology course, they have a horticultural course on cannabis, which my sister's taking. So she's going to learn all about the whole cannabis plants, and like they literally have courses that teach you about cannabis. So if we start doing that in colleges and stuff, and it becomes a real thing there, then I think they should definitely transition it to the medical schools.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man.
You need to. You have to. Man.
I mean, come.
There needs to be so much more education on it, and it's just funny. Because my friend here, he is an aficionado of marijuana products. I am actually, I refrain from alcoholic consumption and marijuana consumption or any sort of drug, right?
Right on.
But I understand why people would use it and need to use it, and I have no qualms about that. The problem I have is just education is so fucking backwards and still like in the Stone Age. Not the Stone Age. It should be the fucking Stone Age. And we need to, I don't know, there just needs to be so much more reform to what they're teaching. And I mean, it's such a big part. It's always been a big part of the culture. It's just now becoming kind of mainstream, right? It's just, I don't know.
Or accepted. Or it's just like, you're not going to shame somebody for it now.
Yeah. Well, we know so much about the negative or pros and cons of alcohol and the negatives on nicotine and tobacco and cigarettes and then we just know this much about marijuana, right? The people that know about marijuana, the people like Lond or like you guys that use it.
Yeah, the users.
The users know about it because they're going out of their way to research it and look at articles, look at whatever. And then these doctors don't know fucking anything about it. And it's sad.
Wasn't there also a study, too, that marijuana users usually don't... It's not a gateway drug. It's it's the end-all, be-all for most marijuana users. They actually say smoke marijuana rather than do all the other hardcore shit. Right. Because, I mean, you still get the same shit.
You get a good feeling.
I stopped drinking, like, the last couple of years. I've really refrained... probably a good 95% of my alcohol consumption, and I don't think my consumption of THC has doubled or anything like that. But I mean, I'm fine.
Yeah, you just find your median.
Like
I sometimes I don't drink as heavily as I used to. I used to drink pound at least 12 beers.
Yeah, those days are over for me.
But so it's like I find a median. Like I'll have 3 beers, and then I'll smoke 2 J's or have 3 dabs. And it's like, cool, I'm right there in the mellow center. So it's just like, as long as everyone understands their limits and doesn't get stupid.
But that comes from education, right? That comes from learning about what you're putting inside your body. We know everything, every little thing that's in anything that you drink or eat. We know, this causes this and this causes that. We, why the fuck can't we learn that about marijuana?
See, I have a simple rule in life. Don't be stupid.
No shit.
And don't fuck shit up.
No shit.
The mantra of this show is don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
All in moderation, man.
Yeah, don't be a dick and ruin it for everyone else. Just be cool.
If you're gonna be fucking up your life and fucking other people's lives up with whatever substance you're taking or whatever you're into, you're gonna do it regardless. I think. I think it makes it easier, maybe, but that's on you, man. Figure it out.
Take responsibility for your own actions.
Figure it out,
if you know what you're doing, then you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Exactly. I think it's just about time that we let adults be adults and let the education process take its course, and everybody needs to kind of read up on it if we want to be responsible citizens. So
look, we don't need Miss Reverend Lovejoys around here. Okay, let's keep that in The Simpsons. Thank you very much.
It's rough, man. We live in a very conservative country, so that has a lot to do with it.
Cool. Well, that made for a good joint report, I thought.
Yes, sir.
Smoke weed every day.
You got it.
Well, let's finish this off with the music highlights.
said a hip.
Well, fellas, you guys have a new EP coming out.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
What is it called?
It's called, speaking of which, it's called Human Failure.
We were just about to name this show Human Failure when we were first starting out about a year ago. I'm glad we left it open for you guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for letting us have that one. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. We have an EP coming out July 18th. It's going to be released digitally, every platform possible.
Everywhere.
Digitally. And then July 19th, physical copies. Can you believe there's still such thing as compact discs?
I can believe
Physical
that.
copies.
We didn't, yeah, exactly. So there's these things called
I'm waiting for the
CDs.
cassette.
Yeah, there you go. That's a big thing now.
You guys got an 8-track. Then
I'm a collector.
Yeah, so I mean, we didn't print that many.
For obvious reasons.
Well, two reasons. One, because who the fuck buys CDs anymore? But two, keep it limited. It kind of makes it kind of something to collect.
It's only
if
2
you're into
songs,
that. It's
too.
only 2 songs. So we have I think we pressed 300 copies. So get them, while they're still there, and it's cool to have. But yeah, digitally, July 18th. It's 2 songs, and I think we're gonna hear them today, right? I
Yeah,
think so.
man.
Fuck.
Yeah, I hope so.
You're gonna hear them first. No one else has heard them
You
besides
sent me
the
the right
band.
songs,
so there
right?
you go. Yeah, I did. I think so.
All right, well, these first 2 songs that we're going to hear is this first one's called Kill Count, so let's just
Yeah.
check this one out.
Woo woo.
That was sick, dude.
Track 1 of 2.
And that was a particularly short one for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
You guys kind of, your sweet spot's what, 3-4 minutes, give or take?
About 4.
Yeah. I mean, it's changed over the years. I think our last couple releases have been a little more straight to the point. Just
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But the next song I think is probably like 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
So there you go. So we still do it.
It makes up for it.
There you go. There
Well,
you
this
go.
next one's called Benediction.
It is.
Let's check it out. Yeah, when I heard that in the car on the way to work, dude, I was blasting the shit out of it.
Fuck yeah.
Damn.
Dope.
Digging it, dude.
Hell yeah,
Fucking
dude.
digging
Thanks,
it.
dude.
Yeah, it sounds great. Is this a small piece of a bigger thing, or is this just kind of like a nice little neat package of an EP?
Well, it's only a 2-song EP.
It's a little nugget.
But it kind of is a smaller piece of a bigger piece because we're currently rehearsing and writing our full length, which we hope to record by the end of this year. If we work real fast, we'll get it out by the end of this year. But if not, beginning of next year.
Knowing us,
no, we just got a lockout in Anaheim, and we're gonna rehearse and jam as much as possible. So hopefully that'll come out by the end of this year.
it should.
If not, beginning of 2020.
I would say let's count on early 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll probably record it by the end of the year. I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
we'll
but
record
it's
it.
just kind of a, hey, motherfuckers, we here. We're gonna write you some music, and we're still here and kicking it after 20 plus years. So
we're not dead yet.
not yet, not quite, not yet.
It's crazy to think that it's been that long that you guys, and at least that long for me to discover you guys when you were still a 3-piece band.
Right, man.
I was just showing you the EPs or the albums from back when you guys were a 3-piece band right now, and you're like, God damn, I don't even remember those.
Yeah, I know, man. So we did all these demos back then, and as a 3-piece, that's true. So those are some good times.
You were rocking it, man. And well, let's go back in time, man. This one that you told me to play for today is out of 2008. It's called Awake.
Right.
Out of Exist.
Yeah,
so, let's take a gander on this one.
All right.
Last night, you watched
Yeah, dude.
I could be playing Call of Duty, listening to this shit.
Yeah.
Mowing down motherfuckers.
You brought up earlier you used to listen to it during wrestling. I think we got to get sponsored by some like wrestling. I don't know what, but
Federation
I know
somewhere.
yeah, because I know who's the one I'm thinking of. Alex, remember our buddy Alex? He was in the wrestling team in high school, and this is what they used to listen to in the locker room. They used to bump Antagonist.
My cousin's wrestling now, and I think he was mentioning something.
See?
Yeah.
It's like wrestlers everywhere listen to Antagonist.
You
That's
gotta
the
listen
thing.
to some solid fucking metal,
Right,
dude.
right?
Fucking
Get you
somebody
pumped.
up.
I want to fuck you up. Listen to this shit.
You need to, man.
Hell yeah, man.
It's
So-
good stuff. So back in 03 when I was, like 02, 03-ish, when I was in wrestling, one of the,
Right.
as soon as this song started playing,
It's so beautiful inside the mind of a murderer. I can
dude,
look
you know
through
wrestling
your
practice is
eyes
going
as they
down.
I am free. You take my life away.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, this was
Jesus.
playing throughout this whole thing. Oh my god.
That's baby Carlos right there.
It is.
Oh my god.
Can't do that no more.
How old were we, dude? Wait, how old were we?
We're like 16, 17.
Holy shit.
Something like that.
Yeah, we were.
God damn.
It was all downhill from there, man.
I know, right? Yeah. My drums never sounded so good.
I know. I don't think my balls had dropped at that point. I think I was still like growing pubes and stuff.
Still coming of age.
Writing songs about girls. Like, get out of here. Stop that.
But you were still fucking shredding like the best of them, dude.
Oh my god.
God damn,
yeah.
dude. Like, you guys were tearing it up back then,
Thanks,
for sure.
man. Holy shit.
We
That's
tried, man. Made our
stroll,
best efforts.
stroll down memory lane, man. I love it. That's awesome.
It was
Yeah,
different
man.
back then, though. You know, it's like you could just be a kid in a band back then. Like now, it's different. Like you can't just be a kid in a band. Like you got to be on fucking Instagram and
You got to be a social
you know,
media
It's a
influencer.
whole thing.
yeah, it's
You gotta have a
different,
brand.
man. You know, like
I have 0 face tats, guys. I'm very sorry about that. I don't fit in.
You know, back then you took whatever you had and just made music with it.
Those are the
Now
days
it's
of going in front of venues and passing out paper flyers.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
and demos. Like, please listen to
I
our
used
band.
to do that.
Please listen.
Yep.
I used to be that guy, like saying,
so-
"Hey, Antagonist demos, $3."
I would fucking give them away. Shit, I burned these on my
Fuck
computer.
that.
I burned these on my computer, which took 10 minutes to burn one CD. Here you
Yeah.
go.
I was trying to buy weed back then.
I just brought that up to the other day. Remember the days when you actually like it was a thing where you had to like find your guy to that you're buying from, and it was like
see,
you had
that's
to keep it
another
all
thing.
secretive. Now you just go to the store and buy weed. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
right.
the
I'm gonna go to the shop around the corner.
the
See you
mystique's
soon.
the mystique's gone, man.
Yeah, back then you had to wait for the Antagonist show for the weed guy to show up.
That's where he hung out. There's plenty of kids
Well,
here.
even when I handed you guys the $5 or $10 to get your demo, it still looked shady.
It was definitely shady. Dude.
Hold on, let me pull these out of my backpack right here. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Holy shit.
It's still shady. Now we're swiping cards.
It looks more legit because we're using cards now.
Now there's a
but-
paper trail.
Same shit. Yeah, now they got me on fucking. Oh
Yeah.
my god. That's so
Now they're making sure I'm not grossing 10 G's.
Yeah, no kidding to tax your ass.
damn it.
Yeah, they always want a piece of you.
Yep.
Well, guys, I would be remiss if I didn't let you guys just fucking plug all your socials
Oh,
and your
yeah,
.com and all
yeah.
that good shit. So go for it.
Nice. So we are on all the social medias. We are on
All of them.
IG, Facebook, Twitter. The handle is @Antagonist Metal on all of those. We also have a Bandcamp, which people still have, I guess. Antagonist
People like
Metal.
Bandcamp, yeah.
Yeah, so we're on there, and we have EPs and stuff and merch. InfiniteStrengthRecords.com. That's the label we're putting out our new EP on. They put out a lot of other great shit, so check them out.
If you're interested in any of those high school demos,
Oh,
they're on SoundCloud.
Oh, they are. All right.
Yeah.
I guess
We're-
they
I
are.
was going to say, come see the Foo Bar show for this.
Or come see the Foo Bar show. Get
Well,
in
you
line.
know, that's the little Easter egg.
Get
that's
in
out there.
line,
If,
yes.
You know, if you really want that, it's on SoundCloud.
And I'm sad that it is. So thanks a lot, Lon, for that.
Don't be, man. That's great. Still great music.
I'm pretty sure I ran it by you at some point.
So yeah. So I guess the other thing to plug is our EP release show is also July 19th, which is the same day the physical copies are released. July 19th, it's a Friday. It's at the Regal Inn in Lakewood, California. The Regal Beagle is a little scummy bar that we play at, and it's fun, man. There's good shows there.
Black Sabbath donuts.
Yes, they have Black Sabbath donuts next door. Don't even ask. It's
The
stupid.
Regal Beagle.
We call it, it's the Regal Inn. We call it, it's the Regal Beagle. And it's dope. There's going to be a lot of great bands. Antagonist, Blood Scribe from Boyle Heights.
Yep.
Psychotic Scum, also from Whittier, correct?
They're from that area. Yeah.
They're from our area. They're an all-female thrash punk hardcore band, so they're pretty dope. Crossover band.
Okay.
And then
Hungry
Hungry Ass Youth, who's a hardcore band, also on Infinite Strength Records, who literally all their lyrics are about eating. That's why they're called Hungry Ass Youth.
About food and
I
being
think
fat.
their logo is like a pizza, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
It's like the Cross logo, but with a pizza inside
It
it.
is so good.
Yeah.
Hungry Ass Youth and
And then Influence.
Influence,
Our good
also
buddies.
from Boyle Heights. So there you go. So that'll be a fun show, July 19th. We are also, can I keep plugging? Can I just keep doing
do
this?
it, man.
I'm doing
We
it.
got time.
Lon is setting up, we have a residency at the Doll Hut in Anaheim. So Lon, you want to talk about that? Because you're the one doing it.
So we have a Monday residency during the month of July at the Doll Hut.
Little Mondays.
Which is a little punk rock dive bar in the city of Anaheim.
Yep.
So if you come every Monday, you'll find us playing. The first Monday, we got fully booked already. We got Zombie Eating Horse, which is the other band that I'm in with our other guitar player, Roland, who is not here today. But it'll be Zombie Eating Horse, Antagonist, Blood Scribes playing that one too.
Yep.
A couple other buddies are playing that. And then we also have, what's the next show? The 8th? I think, is it the 8th?
The next July.
Yeah, I think it's the 8th. But anyways, that one is actually like a touring
Package.
that's playing with us.
Yeah, July 8th.
So we're working on all the dates, but basically every Monday in
July we're playing the
we will
Doll
be
Hut.
at the Doll Hut.
Yeah.
So not everything's set in stone quite yet, but we'll be there.
Well, very least.
Antagonist is definitely set in stone for all those dates. But
Yeah.
any Monday night there, you'll see us and another lineup of cool ass local hardcore metal, punk rock, heavy type music bands. And
so just keep a lookout on our
It'll be fun.
Instagram and all of our all our socials. We'll have updates regularly about the lineups.
add us, friend us, follow us, whatever. I don't know what to call it anymore. Follow.
Whatever you do.
Adding is like MySpace.
That is my
Oh my God! Put me in your top 10, guys. Fucking do it.
Whoa! I was number 1 last week. Why am I number 9?
Oh,
Like,
Dude,
I know.
that would create.
Wait,
fucking,
hold on.
like-
that was like the new level.
Dude, that was
of,
so horrible.
You better- you know-
of speed dial. Remember back then it was speed dial. Wait, I'm number 2. I'm number 3 on your speed dial
Yep.
now.
Do you know how many friendships MySpace top 10 just destroyed? How many
Dude,
friendships
so
were
many.
shattered? Like, excuse you.
And then they upped it to the 25. I'm like, okay, look, that's too
Right,
much.
yeah.
All right, I don't need them to think there's that.
We're talking about MySpace. I'm the only motherfucker who remembers that when the movie 300 came out.
Yes.
The movie 300.
I remember. I know.
that you could only have so many pictures on your MySpace,
But they let you have 300
and then
pictures.
They let you have 300
Yep,
pictures.
I remember
Yeah.
that shit.
They
I
funded
remember
that for MySpace.
I remember
I
that.
do remember that.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
You only were
do.
able to have like 7 pictures or something for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking rest in peace, MySpace. Rest in peace.
I think it's still out there, isn't it?
But
not
is
the
it?
same.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
is it?
didn't they just lose all the music?
They lost all the music.
did.
all
I
the
think
music
they deleted
was
all the
deleted, all of it.
messages and
Everything
stuff.
gone.
The pictures are still
So,
up there,
so
though.
all those pictures of you guys, the scene kids with this hair and the fucking
Don't worry, it's
gone
gone.
forever.
No, I know.
You guys are
the
safe
pictures
now.
are still
You're
there. I
not
think.
safe. I just saved them all. So sorry.
An
Blackmailing
entire
all you.
generation's worth of local music is just out. It's done,
Dude,
Like,
yeah.
it's a
Lost.
bummer.
That's
it
what's
really
sad.
is.
Yeah.
There was nothing better than your playlist on your freaking front page, like your songs would play, and then oh yeah, dude,
Dude, I had fire playlist on there, dude. Some
fire,
fucking fire ass playlist,
Yeah, I know,
dude.
man.
MySpace taught me how to code, how to do HTML.
There you
Right.
go, man.
Because you can
Everyone was
customize your
coding.
front page and everything.
Thanks, Tom.
And now no one knows shit.
I know.
About it.
And if you didn't have any friends, you at least had Tom.
Yeah,
he said
Tom is everyone's friend, man.
No. What was rad about MySpace is that you could be friends with pizza. You know, like, that's what was rad.
Did
like,
pizza have a profile?
yeah, dude. Like, you could be friends with a fucking hamburger on MySpace. That shit was dope, dude. Fucking Facebook don't got that kind of love.
Sorry, F
Not
book.
like that.
Blowing it, F book.
Not
Figure it
even
out.
no one wants to be friends with each other on Facebook.
I don't want to know what that other person's doing. If they're having a good life, so be it. But get out of mine.
Sorry, Facebook. Nobody wants to see videos of your kid. Sorry.
Yeah.
Look, okay, I'm done. I can see it walk now. It's great. It walks.
Yes.
Now leave me alone.
I get it. 2 seconds. Finish it.
Well, Facebook took a turn when everybody's mom started getting a Facebook.
Oh,
Right, yeah,
jeez.
exactly.
Everything becomes not cool when your mom or dad start liking
Or actually,
it.
I think the cool kids started becoming moms.
That's what I was going to say. They just started becoming
They just started
parents.
Then they
Parents.
became
Shit.
the moms. And they were
That
No,
too.
no. When Facebook went down the hill for me was when my grandparents decided.
Dude.
It's like, oh man.
I still have a pending request
So
from my
what's-
grandma.
right? What do you do?
It's in your queue.
What do you do in that situation?
I don't know. My girlfriend asked me to. She's like, your grandma friend requested me. I was like, just accept it.
Well, if you
don't want
ignore
the
it, they can
trouble.
still follow you, but they're not necessarily
Right.
your friend.
What's
Right.
the age cutoff? Like, when do we say, you know what, we can't have a Facebook anymore? Nah, I'm too old for this
They're
shit.
99.
Dude, is it? Shit.
When they don't know how to use the computer, just don't have.
But
a
like for
Facebook.
us, when are we
I'm
gonna have
just
to
gonna
cancel our
archive mine at
accounts?
some point, dude.
Oh, I'm sure. When we're older,
Legacy account.
yeah.
Legacy account.
You've been in Facebook for 50 years.
Isn't it gonna be sad? Like,
Yeah, right.
So what's the
All
50-year
depressing.
anniversary video they make look like? What's that?
You know, it's like cobwebs and
You've
shit.
You've been on Facebook for 50 years.
It's a bunch of tatted up grandpas.
Get a fucking get a goddamn life. Get off this now.
That's gonna be sad.
You're gonna see a lot of old bros.
Fuck yeah.
No.
Remember
God.
the people you used to know? People that you used to
Not
know.
people you may know, people you used to know. It's like an obituary. Everyone's passed on Facebook.
Good times.
Oh,
Good times. Oh, man. Well, hey, this has been a fucking slice of heaven. you
Hell
guys.
yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Speaking of a slice,
There was mention of pizza.
I know.
friends with pizza, slices.
It's all good. It's all full circle, guys. Pizzas are circles.
Well, hey, I wish you continuous success.
Thanks, guys.
Moving forward,
Appreciate
very, very excited now that I know that there is actually a bigger piece to come out maybe early next year
Hell
for an
yeah.
album.
Hell
So
yeah.
it's going to be great. Been following you guys for years, so this has been a fucking treat.
Quite a
Thanks,
treat.
man.
Quite
Yeah.
a treat
And
indeed.
you guys are fucking dope to talk to.
Oh,
man.
thanks,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Likewise, man.
Cool.
Hell
Thanks,
yeah, I
guys.
had a good ass time.
Cool. Well, everybody follow Antagonist on all of your socials. Check them out. Get their merch. Do a quick plug on that podcast you were telling us about, too.
So the podcast is Loud and Abrasive. Right now, it's only available on SoundCloud. We're working on it, getting it everywhere else. You could also find it at www.infinitestrengthrecords.com.
People still have websites.
You can go to that website and you could find a direct link, so you don't have to wade through the world of SoundCloud.
IG handle?
Instagram handle is loud.abrasive.podcast. And then you could also find me on Instagram at Lond Zombie, and you could also find, the band's links and the podcast links on there.
Send him foot pictures. He has a foot fetish.
I don't know about that. But anyways,
as long as it has a slice of pizza on your foot.
I have a pizza foot fetish.
I have a
yeah.
pizza
foot.
Actually, it's just really a pizza fetish.
I like foot of pizza, like
a
whole
foot.
foot
A
of
whole
pizza.
foot.
Ones you can pull,
12
yeah.
inches of pizza.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about it right now.
This went off the rails.
I don't know where this got
Give
out
me
of
those
hand.
12 inches of pizza.
But yeah, you could find us on there. We talk about pizza. We talk about music. We talk about all kinds of cool stuff. So it's Loud and Abrasive. We're trying to put it out there, as much as possible. We just started season 2 actually.
Oh, nice.
So we got some cool guests
The
coming
revenge.
up. Yeah,
Electric Boogaloo.
Revenge of the podcast.
Revenge of the podcast.
Loud and Abrasive 2 Electric Boogaloo. I
So
love it.
check it out. We basically just talk to local musicians, but we're kind of open to anybody really.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
anyone that's loud and abrasive.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, there you are, dude. That fits your profile. So
I am
well.
loud and abrasive.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure is.
There it is.
And or sometimes.
And well,
Yeah.
both.
Yes, exactly.
Well, guys, thanks again for being on the show, and we look forward to the next time. So, thank you all very much for listening into the Foo Bar Show. Thank you for downloading the pod on most major podcast apps, subscribing, and telling a friend like a champ. You can always reach us at Foo Bar Show. That's FOOBarshow.com. And FOO Bar Show is our handle on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line, and we'll fill it up like a couple of Foos. I've been Josie.
I've been Josh.
And for the boys, Carlos, Orlando from Antagonist. Yeah. Don't be